She grinned. The exact grin that used to greet me each morning, now aimed at someone else. The lift at the corners of her mouth, the brightness in her gaze, unchanged. Yet it no longer belonged to me. From across the street, through the window of the cafe that once held our laughter and private confessions, I watched her seated beside him. That spot had been ours. We had filled it with plans and secret smiles. Now it belonged to another pair of hands, and another set of promises. Her laughter floated out, head thrown back, eyes shining, and something inside me gave way. It wasn't the cinematic, tearful collapse. It felt quieter, like the slow settling of a house that has stood too long. I hadn't gone there looking for her. I wasn't hunting for closure, but fate, unkind and precise, put her in my path. I stayed longer than any good sense suggested, foolishly hoping she'd glance up and see me among the passers-by. She didn't. He reached for her across the table and rested his palm on hers. She didn't pull away. In that simple, casual touch, I understood we weren't suspended between choices anymore. We were finished. I turned and left, each step heavy as lead. Breaths became shallow, sound and color dulled, and instead of tears and numbness spread through me that erased the edges of the world. My thoughts went back to the night she left. She'd said we drifted, that the people we had been together no longer fit who we were now. Perhaps she was right. We no longer danced barefoot in the kitchen, no longer reached for each other's hands during long drives, no longer whispered, "I love you," for no reason. I blamed my endless work hours. She blamed bad timing. Neither of us blamed the affection itself. Maybe it had simply faded, and we were too frightened to admit it. When she packed and walked out, I didn't fight. I didn't plead. I stood in the doorway and hoped she'd turn back at the last second. She never did. The apartment swallowed me. The groan of the floorboards, sunlight that felt too bright through windows that used to be soft, and the ghost of her scent lingering on everything. At midnight, I kept checking my phone for messages that wouldn't come. Days blurred into weeks, and then months. I tried to distract myself with dates and conversations, with faces that never matched the one I wanted. The trouble wasn't finding someone else. It was learning to let her go. I hadn't been meant to replace her. I'd been meant to move past her. But I failed. Seeing her with another was supposed to be the closing act, the final, clean cut. Instead, it reshaped the ache, made it tender in a new way. I retreated. I erased apps, avoided our old streets, changed my coffee haunts. I wasn't merely avoiding her. I was trying to lose the part of me that had loved too deeply. Then one evening, the sky opened and rain hammered everything. I walked home soaked through, hoodie clinging, thoughts far away. When I heard my name, low, uncertain, familiar, I turned, and there she stood across the street, hair matted to her face, eyes fixed on me as if the world had folded inward. She said my name again, louder, like she needed proof. For a moment I couldn't move. I wasn't sure whether I was awake or trapped in a strange, cruel dream. She crossed the wet pavement. Rain and tears ran together on her cheeks. "I've been looking for you," she said. 1,000 questions rose up. Why now? Why after all this? Why after I saw you with him? She answered before I could. "I saw you at the cafe," she admitted, voice shaky. "You looked happy." "I wasn't," I said. She looked down. "Neither was I," she whispered. I pretended for weeks, but it felt false. "Then why?" I asked, voice thin. She swallowed. "Because I thought you'd moved on. You let me go without fighting. I wondered if I had imagined us, if it had meant the same to you as it did to me." Her breath hitched. "I love you. I still do. I just didn't know if you want me back." Her confession hung between us in the rain, delicate and raw. She looked at me with a mix of guilt and hope. "I was wrong," she said. "I left thinking I'd find something better, but all I found was how much I missed you. The silence that followed wasn't the harsh, punishing kind we once knew. It was thick with every unsaid thing. I waited, not because I believed she'd come back, but because I didn't know how to stop hoping. Words finally gathered. She stepped closer, voice breaking. "Then don't," she begged. "Not this time. I want to start again if you'll let me." There she was, the same woman who had left me hollow, now trembling and pleading under a storm, asking for another chance. Forgiveness wouldn't be simple, and trust wouldn't return at once. But love, I thought, doesn't always disappear. Sometimes it hides, waiting for a moment of reckoning. Maybe the rain had washed out an ending and left a beginning in its place.